Welcome to the Streetport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Monday Night Raw results, as well as there's a change in venue on the Raw taping this week because of a live SmackDown tonight, scheduled on Tuesday night, and the replay as well on Friday night. It's a WWE week, started on last night on USA Network. Tonight follows with SmackDown, and then you got Wednesday is your main event, which was taped on Monday Night Raw. But as usual, some other wrestling news with WWE. WWE's website has released CM Punk's new Knees to Faces t-shirt, which is a counter to Boots to Asses from The Rock, and a In Captivity Brodus Clay t-shirt. As seen on last night's Raw, Ryback mentioned Owen Hart when accepting his Slammy Award, and Natalia thanked him via her Twitter account. And it's she was by saying, "It's important we don't forget Owen Hart. Thank you, Ryback," unquote. Vince McMahon and Triple H were praising everyone's work backstage after Sunday's TLC pay-per-view. There was apparently at least some talk of using the TMZ photos of John Cena and Nikki Bella at her high school reunion, as John Cena appeared with her. So I guess he's dating her, or whatever, to explain why AJ Lee turned on Cena at the TLC pay-per-view. Like I was saying, WWE Week begins on USA Network with a Slammy Awards edition of Raw, which takes place in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Wells Fargo Center. This is the last live Raw of 2012, as the Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve editions will both be taped. WWE, okay. The advertised dark match from last night's show was John Cena and Sheamus versus Big Show and Dolph Ziggler. Former WWE wrestler Nick Dinsmore, a.k.a. Eugene, turned 37 years old, and he was born December 17, 1975. He continues to wrestle on the indie scene as Eugene, not Eugene, just Eugene. Okay, also, WWE Hall of Famer celebrity wing William Perry turned 50 years old on Sunday. He was born December 16, 1962. The former NFL offensive lineman and goal line running back competed in WrestleMania 2 Battle Royal. TNA wrestler Eric Young turned 33. His real name is Jeremy Fritz. His birthday was on Saturday. He was born December 15th. 1979. Young recently announced that he has re-signed with TNA, and he originally debuted in January of 2004. Former WWE wrestler Rene Dupree, aka Rene Goguen, celebrated his 29th birthday on Saturday. He was born December 15, 1983. He wrestled last month on a pro wrestling syndicate event in New Jersey, so he's still doing some type of wrestling. WWE Hall of Famer Stone Cold turned 48 years old on today, while Trish Stratus also turned 37. Happy birthday, folks. And RVD turned 42. So all three of those wrestlers have birthdays on the same day. We noted earlier that Sin Cara is battling through some knee issues, so they may be taking him off TV and off the road and letting him recuperate. Well, after last night's Raw, there was increasing concern that Sin Cara will be taking some time off soon. This could be a throw in a kink to WrestleMania's plans for the second year in a row, as the last word, the officials were looking to do Cara versus Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania and trying to break the world record with the most masks in the arena. The decision to have Naomi win the Divas Battle Royal at TLC was made midweek after pulling AJ Lee from the match. A lot of people within WWE are high on Naomi as her athleticism, but the feeling is that she needs more experience. Triple H appeared on Monday's Raw TV show to accept the Match of the Year award for his match with Undertaker. at WrestleMania 28. Hunter said the answer to the $1 million question is, you've not seen the last of The Undertaker. Following the Slammy Awards were issued via the following Slammy Awards were issued by the WWE website and were announced during the TLC free preview. Upset of the Year, Daniel Bryan defeats Mark Henry at Royal Rumble. Wrestler of the Year by PWI was CM Punk. Diva of the Year was AJ Lee from WWE.com. WWE.com exclusive video of the year, Jerry Lawler discusses his miraculous return. Crowd chant of the year, feed me more. Betrayal of the year, Big Show knocks out John Cena at Over the Limit. Facial hair of the year, Daniel Bryan. Who was he in competition with? The recent Cody Rhodes. Insult of the year, John Cena to Dolph Ziggler and Vicky Guerrero. One enjoys eating a lot of nuts, and the other is still trying to find his. Tweet of the year, Daniel Bryan. Goat face is a horrible insult. My face is practically perfect in every way. In fact, from now on, I demand to be called Beautiful Bryan. Top social media ambassador of the year, Charlie Sheen. Best dancer of the year, Brodus Clay. Feat of strength of the year, Sheamus delivers white noise to Big Show. YouTube show of the year, of course, Zack Ryder's Z, True Long Island Story. The crowd couldn't be here tonight, so I accept the award on their behalf for the crowd chant of the year. Yay, boo. You suck. Let's go, you. And you can view the winners and the nominees for these categories also at WWE.com. Dark match prior to Raw taping was Alex Riley defeating Michael McGillicuddy in about a 3-minute match. Riley won with his TKO finisher. WWE did not tape Superstars as they normally do on Mondays. Rather, they taped the main event show. Well, the main event show has more matches, so they can actually tape more on the program, before the program, because live SmackDown tonight. So they will probably do Superstars on tonight, since Superstars only maybe have like two or three matches, similar to a main event. Mark Gessler was at the Raw show and posted maybe one match from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The show opened to a replay of Cody Rhodes being injured last month and in his and Damian Sandows match versus Kane and Daniel Bryan, while Miz and Coleslaw talked about it at the announcer's desk. So the first match, Kane and Daniel Bryan defeated Cody Rhodes and Damian Sandow to retain the WWE Tag titles. Rhodes and Bryan were set to start off the match, but Cody and his mustache, which received chants earlier, demanded that Bryan tag in Kane. Kane got the better of Rhodes, leading to him tagging in Sandow. Team Hell No worked over Sandow, including an awesome move where Bryan had Sandow's arm locked behind his back on the ground and proceeded to drop knees to his back and got a yes chant from with every knee drop. The Rhodes Scholars were able to make a comeback and worked over both Kane and Bryan. Rhodes Scholars looked to have the match won after Sandow hit his neckbreaker finisher. And Rhodes hit the beautiful disaster kick, but Bryan made a save. Kane followed up with a chokeslam, and Bryan made a blind tag and hit a top rope headbutt to score the pinfall in about 20 minutes. Now, for the second report from the main event taping. And this one was by .NET reader John Corrigan. And he just briefly goes over the Kane and Daniel Bryan match. And he said that there was the first of the 3 appearances by Rhodes Scholars throughout the entire night, including Raw. The primetime players in the second match defeated Santino Marella and Zack Ryder. Titus impressed with a bunch of power moves, but Ryder and Santino are definitely over with the kids. Although Ryder has lost some momentum in the past year, as evidenced by lack of spiky hair wigs. And finally, Raw from the USA Network. The show opens with a slammy video that included wrestlers past and present and hype that the fan voting determines their outcome. Michael Coleslaw introduced the show from ringside and was joined by the King, Jerry Lawler, and JBL. All 3 men were dressed in tuxedos. They showed still shots of the TLC match, and JBL said that the Shield dominated Ryback, Kane, and Daniel Bryan. The classic footage in the opening video made the Slammies feel important. Sadly, the awards never feel prestigious because WWE has too many joke categories. I was surprised to hear JBL include Ryback in the domination talk. I thought they would be more protective with him. I was waiting for the King or Coleslaw to come to his defense. Also worth noting that JBL said that the TLC match should be considered as Match of the Year candidate in next year's Slammy Awards. Does anyone know when the cutoff is? I don't think so. Well, match number 1 on Raw, Rey Mysterio with Sin Cara versus Damien Sandow with Cody Rhodes' mustache. Cole noted that Rhodes Scholars will be challenging Kane and Daniel Bryan for the WWE Tag Titles again on main event. On Wednesday's main event. In the end, Mysterio hits the 619 and followed up with a top rope splash for the clean win. Mysterio defeated Sandow 3 minutes 10 seconds. They actually taped the tag title match from the main event earlier tonight, so the live crowd saw Rhodes and Sandow twice already. The result of that match is available on the main page. Booker T came out to present the first Slammy Award. The Tell Me I Just Did Not See That award. Booker said it's for the most shocking moment of the year. He pimped the WWE app as the only way to vote. He pulled out his phone and asked fans to join him in downloading the app and voting. The nominees were Brad Maddox, low blow at Hell in a Cell, Sheamus beating Daniel Bryan in 18 seconds at WrestleMania 28. Before Booker could announce the winner, Boogeyman's music played and out he crawled onto the stage. He's still got that alarm clock. As Coleslaw noted, Boogeyman pulled out the worms as they go to commercial. Now we're off to a rocky start. I'm sure some folks will be happy to see the Boogeyman again. I love good nostalgia, but I can't say I've had a strong desire to see him again. The live crowd seemed to feel the same. For whatever it's worth, there were a few Chris Jericho clips in the opening video. So, and after all, his tour is over, so look for him to return anytime soon. After the break, Boogeyman was gone. Booker did the Tell Me I Did Not Just See That line to a very mild reaction. The drum roll started. Brad Maddox walked out to assume that he was the winner. Kofi Kingston won the Tell Me I Did Not Just See That award. Kingston came out and took the trophy while Maddox looked upset. Kingston said he has always wanted to win a Slammy and thanked the fans for making his dreams come true. Now, my thing is, how did he win that award if he wasn't even in the voting? Heck, I don't even know if he was in the voting. Because if it was Brad Maddox and John Cena. And that was the only two. Well, Kofi wins. Okay. Match number 2, Eve versus Caitlyn in a non-title match. No televised intro for either diva. Caitlyn caught Eve on the ropes and then dropped her stomach first onto her knee. Caitlyn pinned Eve and then draped the title belt over Eve afterwards. Caitlyn laid down and pretended to pose for a picture to taunt Eve, just like Eve has been doing for the last couple of matches. And the match only took 2 minutes and 5 seconds. So look for Caitlyn to be winning the title soon. Eve's streak of working programs with Caitlyn and or Layla continues. Okay. The New Age Outlaws were introduced to present the Comeback of the Year award. Billy Gunn read the list of nominees from his hand as a gag. Like, okay, I'm reading. Nominees were Brock Lesnar, check. Chris Jericho, check. DX at Raw 1000, check. And Jerry Lawler returning from a heart attack, check. And they go to commercial. I guess The Rock's first Singles match in the main event of WrestleMania at WrestleMania 29 wasn't nomination worthy. Did they give him the award last year since he worked a tag match at Survivor Series? Did they not? They did not during Raw, but I suppose it's possible he got one of the 7 more ridiculous off-camera awards. My guess is that they simply wanted Lawler to win the award. Well, after the break, the Outlaws introduced the winner. Jerry Lawler won Comeback of the Year. Lawler jogged to the podium and said he shouldn't run like that, or he'll give himself another heart attack. He thanked the fans and said it's great to be back. Match number 3, Intercontinental Champion Kofi Kingston versus Tensai in a non-title match. Kingston caught Tensai with a Trouble in Paradise kick and pinned him. After the match, Wade Barrett attacked Kingston and left him lying after the bullhammer elbow. After all, he couldn't copyright Big Show's knockout punch, so it's a elbow forearm. Kofi Kingston pinned Tensai in 1 minute and 10 seconds. Mysterio and Kingston are the only wrestlers who have received televised ring entrances tonight. It was good to see Barrett attack Kingston to keep their feud going. I mentioned last night that Barrett losing wasn't such a bad thing, as long as the follow-up was okay. The follow-up angle was quick, yet effective. The announcers treated the viewers like morons by explaining how to download the WWE app so they could start taking part in the voting. Interactive Raw. Hey kids, pull out the device known as the cell phone from your pocket. Turn it on by pressing the button. Go to the location where you buy these things called apps. Search for ProWrestling.net or even Pro Wrestling itself. Also WWE. I wonder if we can get one for TEW. I'll mention it to the promoter, see how he feels about it. We'll create something. Download the again. Rate it the greatest app in the history of mankind. Of course, by downloading the WWE app, you get to vote online for the awards or whatever they have voting for. Of course, they're still rigged. Miss Piggy comes out to booze and introduce the nominees for Kiss of the Year. Nominees involved are AJ for her kisses with Daniel Bryan, Kane, CM Punk, and John Cena, and more, as they go to commercial. Okay, that made me chuckle. It does suck after having such a hot pay-per-view. We get a campy comedy award show as follow-up. After the break, Piggy Guerrero, says that she would never not be nominated for the award because she wouldn't abuse her power like AJ. And AJ and John Cena won Kiss of the Year. AJ skipped onto the stage. Vicky said she should explain her action. AJ took the Slammy Award and said she doesn't owe anyone anything. Vicky said AJ is trash and Dolph Ziggler knows it. They bickered. Dolph Ziggler can't come out and stood between them. AJ taunted Vicky and then jumped into Ziggler's arms and kissed him. Wow. Dolph kissed her back. Vicky stormed away and the kiss continued. AJ skipped to the back with her award, and Ziggler ran after her. Great Khali and Natalya made their entrance. What we have here, mixed tag. So the idea is not that AJ and Dolph colluded beforehand. Rather, it seems AJ's character acted on her own. But now Ziggler is smitten after she kissed him. By the way, the ad for Friday's SmackDown focus on Sheamus and Big Show. They don't have a live special to promote for tomorrow night? Great Khali with Natalya versus David Otunga. With a chop here, a chop there, a chop everywhere. Here a chop, there a chop, everywhere a chop, chop. Khali wins with a chop. And old McDonald had his farm. So WWE used it. Great Khali pinned him in 1 minute and 50 seconds. Poor David Otunga, another squash. It's my job to cover this show, and even I couldn't stop myself from checking the score of a Monday Night Football game that I don't really care about. Heck, I don't even know who won or who even played now. As I was checking on my cell phone at work. Nothing really came up. Lawler said that there was a special presenter for the Superstar of the Year. Woo! Voices, and everybody knows it's Ric Flair. And the nominees for Superstar of the Year were Sheamus, John Cena, CM Punk, and Big Show. Coleslaw said that they would name the winner and their special guest after the break. Well, that was a hell of a hook for the commercial break. Justin Roberts introduced Ric Flair to present the Superstar of the Year award. The fans popped big for the announcement and stood and clapped as Flair walked onto the stage wearing a suit. I wonder why I love Philadelphia, Flair said. Good Lord, what a crowd. You guys are as live as ever. Man, Monday Night Raw and the Nature Boys back in town. Flair said he can't tell anyone where he'll be later in the night because he'd get in trouble. Maybe later on, Flair said. He opened the envelope and said, "Oh my God, it's my man. John Cena won the Superstar of the Year award." Lots of boos and some cheers mixed in. Cena walked onto the stage and hugged Flair. Cena smiled and told Flair, "You were right. You are a lively crowd and here tonight." He thanked the fans for all the noise. Cena soaks up the boos by smiling and putting his hands on his hips. He said, "The Superstar of the Year embodies hustle, loyalty, and respect." Cena then said, "Out of respect, the Superstar of the Year should be the greatest superstar of all time." He said, "It's great to see Flair back where he belongs." Cena presented the award to Flair. "He's too much," Flair said. "I don't know why you guys don't like him more." Okay, CM Punk's music played, and he used his crutches to get to the podium as Paul Heyman walked behind him. Lawler said Punk probably thinks he should have won. JBL said he thinks Punk should have won. Punk complained about the fans who voted for Cena and said that it was probably the worst year of his career. He ran through the lowlights of Cena's year and called him a loser like the Philadelphia fans. Heck, I would have been booing just Paul Heyman from Philadelphia, the non-paying promoter from his ECW company. He always wrote bad checks. Punk said Cena grew up wanting to be like Flair. Punk said he grew up only wanting to be himself. After taking some insults, Flair looked at his Rolex and he said he couldn't tell the time because of all the diamonds. Flair said he hasn't been in WWE, but he's been watching. Punk said he would kick Flair's ass even with one leg. Punk told Flair to talk about baggage. Flair said baggage being his 2 Hall of Fame rings and his 4 ex-wives. Flair laughed at his own joke. Punk said he's happy that Flair mentioned it before he did and said again that he would beat Flair with one leg. Flair took off his jacket and threw it at Punk. Flair went to the ring and strutted. Punk started to make his way down to the ring. Commercial break. Did WWE and TNA settle their legal dispute? I'm surprised to see Flair simply because WWE attorneys stated to a judge during that hearing that they had no intention of bringing Flair back. I assumed that he would return once the legal battle ran its course. Either way, it's a fun, unexpected moment. It's no surprise that Punk would go after Flair like all the legends, but that doesn't make it feel any less special to see him tearing into Flair. And I believe his 90-day contract was up anyway, so they can't do the dang thing about it. Well, Punk made his way into the ring with the crutches, and with Heyman behind him in the shadow. Punk jabbed Flair with one of the crutches and slammed it over his back. Punk hobbled while performing the Flair strut. Flair poked Punk in the eye and then locked Heyman into figure 4. Flair's music played while Heyman screamed in pain. Flair then took the mic and said, "And I just came to have a good time." Flair told Jerry Lawler he loved him. "They ain't ever going to lose you and me, my friend." Flair said he recalled telling Vince McMahon that if he dies, he wants to die with a woman from Philadelphia. Flair said he's had more fun in Philly than anyone should have, and he got paid to do it. Flair was then interrupted by the Shield's music. Announcers said Flair needs to leave the ring. "You can't be the man these guys, Flair." Cole said as the show went to a commercial break. This is a nice break from the slammy silliness. The Shield following up with Flair after Punk and Heyman were ran off plays into the Punk and Shield alliance again. That was done real nicely. After the break, Flair was fighting in the ring with Dean Ambrose. Kane and Daniel Bryan would come down and make the save, with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns come in action as well. Ambrose got the better of Flair and then helped his partners beat up Kane and Daniel Bryan. They set up Flair for the triple power bomb by the announcer's table. Ryback's music played, and he ran out to save Flair. Ryback got the better of all three members of the Shield. He pressed Rollins above his head and dropped him onto the announcer's table. All four babyfaces entered the ring. Ryback shook Flair's hand. Flair thanked Bryan. He pulled them all in. They all raised their hands. Flair started to leave, but Ryback called him back. The three faces hoisted Flair onto their shoulders as they go to commercial break. I enjoy what they're doing with Flair, but I don't like the way that they seem to have moved on from the Shield, going over strong at TLC. They acknowledged that early in the show, but they need to do more to back that up tonight. It was very cool to see Flair in the ring with the younger stars such as the Shield, Daniel Bryan, and CM Punk. Let's see if they pimp Flair for the live SmackDown special as well. That would be one way to pop a rating for Tuesday's special. Backstage, Flair spoke with Kane and Daniel Bryan. Kane said that they finally got to the Shield. He yelled yes. Bryan yelled no. And Flair yelled woo. They did this until Ron Simmons showed up, and damn. As they all come back. Match number 5, Brodus Clay with Cameron and Naomi versus JTG. Had a brief run of offense, but Clay came back and won with a splash. Clay, Cameron, and Naomi danced with the kids afterwards. Traditional. Brodus Clay squash match in about 1 minute 50 seconds. Justin Roberts introduced Santino Marella and Tensai to introduce the Laugh Out Loud moment of the year. Tensai went shockmaster by tripping on the way out. He had his head bandaged with an ice pick, so it was intentional. Santino tried to avoid laughing at Tensai. Albert, it is your turn, as Santino said. Tensai didn't say anything. Santino read his line for him. He said Tensai means Fat Albert in Japanese. When Tensai got upset, Santino claimed that's what it said on the teleprompter, even though there was none. The nominees for LOL Award were The Rock's promo in Boston, Kane and Daniel Bryan in therapy, Randy Orton pouring food on Ricardo, and slamming Matt Striker's face into the food, and Vicky Guerrero dancing as they go to commercial. I still want a John Cena Garden Gnome. It was announced to the live crowd in Philly that Raw will return on March 25th for the penultimate edition before WrestleMania 29. Thanks to Mark Gessner and Agassi for those notes. The Rock won. LOL. Moment of the year. Santino said Rock was not there to accept the award, which drew boos from the live crowd. Daniel Bryan walked out yelling no because he felt he deserved to win. Match number 6, Sin Cara with Rey Mysterio versus Cody Rhodes with Damian Sandow. For the third time, Sin Cara's mood lighting was in play. A small chant for the Cody's mustache broke out, but never gained momentum. Cody caught Sin Cara with a crossroads and pinned him clean. No time stipulation on that one. Here's hoping that Cody's mustache just won the mood lighting from Sin Cara. Michael Coleslaw and Jerry the King Lawler once again told viewers how apps work because they apparently assume most of the viewers are stupid. Zack Ryder and Layla came out and told viewers how apps work because they assume WWE Raw viewers are stupid again. They listed the nominees for hashtag of the year. The nominees were Feed Me More, People Power, Little Jimmy, WWWYKI, and Raw viewers are morons who do not know how apps work. Commercial break. I may have made up the last one, but feel free to use it. After the break, Ryback won the Hashtag of the Year award. Ryder said he would give the award to Ryback and then dished out his catchphrase. Woo, 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 you know it. Big Show was introduced as he brought the big chair from the pay-per-view with him. Show said it's okay that the fans let him down again by not voting for him for the Superstar of the Year because he was still world champion. The fans turned on Show with boring and what chants. Show acknowledged them and threatened to sit down on the chair. Sheamus' music played and he was in a nice guy mode while talking about they beat the hell out of each other the night before. He offered Show a handshake. Show accepted, but then told him to get back in line while calling him a potato, eating Irishman, and a ginger snap. Sheamus tackled Show and eventually hit him with a giant chair. Dolph Ziggler comes out in the next segment with the Money in the Bank briefcase and a referee. John Cena ran out and attacked Ziggler before he could use it. There were more boos than cheers for Cena, who threw Ziggler into a barricade at ringside twice. Cole noted that the referee never rang the bell to start the match. In the latest World Heavyweight Championship program that won't end, I was hoping that they would move on after the pay-per-view and have it revisited again and again down the road. But it looks like it's not going away yet. The Ziggler tease was a nice way to get people engaged in the Money in the Bank involvement again. Philly seems to like it second in line to Chicago for Cena's toughest towns. 3MB make their entrance for the next segment. Ricardo Rodriguez introduces Alberto Del Rio, who still had a car in the aisle, yet walked out via the entrance area, and Miz joined him. Commercial break. Lawler referred to 3MB as a 3-minute man. That's really cool because King's girlfriend calls him the 3-minute man. Never mind. Okay, backstage segment. Dolph Ziggler complained to Vicky Guerrero about John Cena costing him the World Heavyweight title. Vicky questioned Dolph about AJ. Ziggler asked Vicky what she was doing in the ring at TLC. She said she was doing her job and the rules were anything goes. Ziggler said that he had no idea that AJ would attack Cena. Ziggler told Vicky that their relationship was over. Vicky told then booked Ziggler and AJ against Cena and herself. Wow. Well, in the ring, Miz recalled using Brooklyn Brawler as their partner at the night before. He introduced the heart and soul of ECW, Tommy Dreamer, as their partner for his match. Tonight, so we get Tommy Dreamer, Alberto Del Rio, and The Miz versus Heath Slater, Drew McIntyre, and Jinder Mahal. Dreamer brought a kendo stick to the ring and received ECW chants, followed by his name being chanted. Dreamer wore a House of Hardcore shirt when he went to the top rope and dove onto his three opponents inside at ringside, heading into the commercial break. The match continued with 3MB working over The Miz. Coleslaw said Slater fancies himself as the Axl Rose of his group. He said if that was the case, they wouldn't be together. Miz made a hot tag to Del Rio, who got the better of Slater, and then tagged in Dreamer. Dreamer DDT Slater and got the pinfall. And the match got 13 minutes, 20 seconds on the time clock. I wish Slater was the actual Rose of the group because he wouldn't show up until after Raw went off the air. And we'd never have to suffer through 3MB ever again. He'd also put on a hell of a three hour show. But that's beside the point. Honestly, I got a kick out of Slater as a singles act. But 3MB is the worst act that they have ever put out in years. Meanwhile, Dreamer received good reaction from throughout the match. Coleslaw hyped that John Cena and Sheamus would face Big Show and Dolph Ziggler in the main event of the Super SmackDown special tomorrow night. So, I wonder if the dark match there was put on the SmackDown special for tomorrow night. Sheamus came out and spoke about how good it felt to hit Big Show with the chair earlier. He introduced the newcomer of the year nominee, Antonio Cesaro, Brodus Clay, Damon Sandow, and Ryback were the nominees. Let the complaints begin that Cesaro is the only nominee who didn't have a run with WWE prior to this year. Calm down, nerds. You're getting pissed off about a godforsaken Slammy award. Take a deep breath and think about that for a second. Ryback won the Newcomer of the Year award. Ryback recalled the great Owen Hart, saying, "Enough is enough and it's time for a change. I am that change," Ryback said. He led through the crowd in a Phoebe Moore chant. Ryback went to the ring. Antonio Cesaro came out and complained that the voting is rigged and the real Newcomer of the Year. So we get a non-title match. U.S. Champion Antonio Cesaro versus Ryback in the match. Cesaro slams Ryback down and went for the neutralizer, but Ryback countered and dropped him. Ryback went to the corner and set up for the clothesline. Cesaro fled to ringside. Ryback pressed Cesaro over his head and threw him back inside the ring. Cesaro rolled out the other side of the ring and headed to the back. Ryback wins by countout. 2 minute 35-second match. I assume that this means Cesaro has a loss by Ryback coming soon. Lost to Ryback coming soon, perhaps as early as Tuesday night on Live SmackDown. I'd keep the two apart if it were my call, but at least they didn't blow it off in one match. And when they were live from SmackDown in Bossier City a couple of weeks ago, nevertheless, Cesaro was by himself. He had nobody else to go to. And I guess he just went to one of the tour buses. Mean Gene, Ricky Steamboat, and JR were introduced to good ovations. They stood at the podium and silently for a bit. Okerlund finally set up the introduction for the final Slammy of the night. For Match of the Year. Steamboat said he's won the Match of the Year a couple of occasions, and it's something he will take with him for the rest of his life. JR listed the nominees for the Match of the Year: Undertaker versus Triple H at WrestleMania 28, John Cena versus Brock Lesnar at Extreme Rules, and Sheamus versus Big Show at Hell in a Cell, and John Cena versus Rock at WrestleMania 28, and Undertaker versus Triple H won the Match of the Year award. Triple H music played, and out he walked on the stage wearing his suit. Triple H received a really good reaction from the crowd when his music hit. He joked that he won the award for best hair in 1997 and pointed at his shorter hair now. A "We Want Taker" chant started as Triple H started to deliver his acceptance speech. Hunter paused, and then started over. Triple H described the match with Undertaker as magical. He said he was out there with two guys he respects more than anyone in the business, Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. He said he considers Taker the benchmark of what the business is all about. A "Thank You Hunter" chant started. Hunter thanked the fans and said that he meant it from the bottom of his heart. He said that he knows that there's $1 million question hanging in the air. You've not seen the last of The Undertaker, as Triple H said. He thanked the crowd again, made his exit while the announcer spoke about Taker and the streak. And then they cut your camera abruptly backstage to where the Shield were beating up Tommy Dreamer. Moxley must be pissed about Dragon Gate USA still. Anyways, Ricardo ran into the picture along with the referees, and they whipped him into a garage door. So John Cena doesn't save Ric Flair from the Shield earlier in the night. Yet Ricardo Rodriguez stands up to them. Ricardo is the new superhero of WWE. He tried to save Dreamer tonight, and the Spanish announced team from 3MB at TLC pay-per-view. Superhero of the Year award should go to Ricardo Rodriguez. Ricardo Rodriguez. AJ comes to the ring for a tag match. Two crew members slid a giant ladder in the ring. She grabbed a mic and climbed up the ladder as the show goes to a commercial break. After the break, AJ was at the top of the ladder with a microphone in hand. "Well, I'm just full of surprises, aren't I?" she asked. AJ says people have been asking her why she did what she did to Cena. She said she thought it was obvious. She started to explain why she knocked Cena off the ladder, but Vicky Guerrero interrupted with a "excuse me" line, as my daughter would come in and say, "excuse me" perfectly. And Vicky said no one cares. Vicky entered the ring and they have a stare down with AJ. Dolph makes his entrance, followed by Cena. Lawler pointed out that they had not heard what Cena's reaction was to teaming with Vicky. Cena was too busy pointing out a group of fans who held up letters that read, "Ziggler's better." Okay, they left out the apostrophe. As the show goes past the 3 hours, John Cena in the match number 9 and Vicky Guerrero versus Dolph Ziggler and AJ. Some fans started Ziggler's better chant, but it faded quickly. Cena got the better of an exchange with Ziggler, who tags in AJ. She smiled at Cena. Vicky entered the match, and they had a catfight roll-around moment with AJ. AJ headed toward the back. Ziggler attacked Cena while Vicky watched from the corner. Vicky left the ring. Ziggler's better chance started back up again. Cena went for the attitude adjustment, but Ziggler slipped away and DDT'd him for a close 2 count. And then Cena counter gets up and applies a STF. AJ returned with a WWE developmental wrestler, Big E Langston, who Coleslaw mentioned by name. Langston entered the ring and attacked Cena. Langston performed a power move on Cena and stood over him while AJ smiled and skipped around the ring. And Ziggler watched from the corner. Coleslaw plugged Super SmackDown live to close the show. Wow. WWE threw a lot more at us tonight than I expected. Langston is the current NXT champion and developmental standout who has worked live events with the main roster. He's a popular wrestler in NXT. He possibly could have debuted years ago, but he had an injury and then came back. But he's clearly a heel after attacking Cena. As I speculated last night, it's possible that AJ is actually associated with the Shield. Ziggler didn't look like he was in on what happened with Langston. So their kiss may have been a swerve, or they're in on this together. I prefer the latter. Slammy awards are still worthless, with the rare exception of when a wrestler, such as Triple H tonight, treats the award as if it means something. I wish they would do away with the nonsense and the silly names, and take a straightforward approach to the awards. After all, the awards that are taken seriously tend to get the best reactions from the fans. Oh, and if the voting isn't rigged, then what would they have done if Triple H versus Undertaker didn't win? I'm not saying it didn't win the voting, but it sure was convenient that Triple H was there and made the big Undertaker announcement. And that ends my video for this week for Raw. Stay tuned for later tonight when I get off work for SmackDown. Probably 1 or 2 matches of superstars. We'll see what happens. Stay tuned.